So welcome back guys in this JLPT series where you learn about Japanese. So today is our class number 18 and it is our first JLPT N5 level grammar point. So the grammar point is dake, means only, just, or as much as. So the meaning of dake is only, just, or as much as. So what is the function of this? So it limits the scope of a sentence, emphasizing a restriction. So it is used with nouns, verbs, and adjectives. So now let's see some examples of dake. So the first example is mizu dake non de kudasai, means please drink only water. And the next example is taberu dake ii desu, means just eating is enough. Now the next example is kore wa kantan na dake desu, means this is just simple. So now let's see some examples of dake. Now let's see sentence structure in different tenses. So the sentence structure is verb plus dake, means hon o yomu dake desu, means I only read books. And the present negative is verb negative form plus dake, means hon o yomanai dake desu, means I just don't read books. And the past tense is past verb plus dake, means the example is hon o yonda dake desu, means I just read the book. And the past negative is past negative verb plus dake. Example, hon o yomanakatta dake desu, means I just didn't read that book. So now we have 40 examples with verbs. Now we have 40 examples with, now let's see some more examples. The present tense examples are kyou wa benkyou suru dake da, means I'm just going to study today. Next is ima shukudai o suru dake desu, I'm only doing my homework now. The next is kono eiga o miru dake da, means I am just going to watch this movie. The next is kono hon o yomu dake desu, means I am just reading this book. The next is sore o kiku dake de, means I am just listening to that. The next is ashita wa neru dake desu, means tomorrow I will just sleep. The next example is kare ni aau dake da, means I am just meeting him. The next is kono mondai o toku dake desu, means I am just solving this problem. The next is kyou wa taberu dake da yo, means I am just going to eat today. Now let's see the present negative case. Now let's see present negative sentences. So the first one is kyou wa benkyou shinai dake da, means I'm just not studying today. The next is ima shukudai o shinai dake desu, means I am just not doing my homework now. The next is eiga o minai dake da, means I am just not watching the movie. The next is kono hon o yomanai dake desu, means I am just not reading this book. The next is sore o kikanai dake de, means I am just not listening to that. The next is ashita wa nenai dake desu, means tomorrow I am not sleeping. The next is kare ni awanai dake da, means I am just not meeting him. The next is kono mondai o tokanai dake desu. Means I am just not solving this problem. The next is kyou wa tabenai dake da yo. Means I am just not eating today. The last one is kaisha ni kikanai dake desu. Means I am just not going to the office. Now let's see some past sentences. The first one is Kino benkyou shita dake da. I just studied yesterday. The next one is Kino shukudai o shitta dake desu. Means I just did my homework yesterday. The next one is Eiga o mitta dake da. Means I just watched the movie. Next is kono hon o yonda dake desu. Means I just read this book. The next one is sore o kita dake da. Means I just listened to that. The next one is kinou wa neta dake desu. Means I just slept yesterday. The next one is kare ni atta dake da. Means I just met him. The next is kono mondai o toita dake da. Means I just solved this problem. The next is kinou tabeta dake da yo. Means I just ate yesterday. The last one is kaisha ni itta dake desu. Means I just went to the office. Now let's see past negative sentences. First one is kinou benkyou shinakatta dake da. Means I just didn't study yesterday. Next one is kinou shukudai o shinakatta dake desu. Means I just didn't do my homework yesterday. Next one is eiga o minakatta dake da. Means I just didn't watch the movie. The next one is kono hon o yomanakatta dake desu. Means I just didn't read this book. The next one is sore o kikanakatta dake desu. Means I just didn't listen to that. The next is kinou wa nenakatta dake desu. Means I just didn't sleep yesterday. Next one is kare ni awanakatta dake da. Means I just didn't meet him. The next one is kono mondai o tokanakatta dake desu. Means I just didn't solve this problem. The next one is kinou tabenakatta dake da yo. Means I just didn't eat yesterday. The next one is kaisha ni ikanakatta dake desu. Means I just didn't go to the office. So now let's see some 40 examples of dake with noun. So the structure is noun plus dake da for formal, for informal, and noun plus dake desu for formal. So the first example is kore wa shumi dake desu. Means this is just a hobby. Next is kore wa shumi dake desu. Means this is just a hobby for formal. Next is kare wa tomodachi dake da. Means he is just a friend. And for formal you can just add this instead of da. Next is kyou wa shigoto dake da. Means today is only work. And for formal you just add this like kyou wa shigoto dake desu. Means today is only work. So you can just try to speak these sentences and I will explain the later sentences. So now let's see the present negative sentences. So the structure is noun plus janai dake desu. So the first one is kore wa shigoto janai dake da, means it is not just work, just not work. And the next is kare wa sensei janai dake da, means he is just not a teacher. Now let's see the sentences of past tense. So the structure is noun plus dake datta. So the first example is sore wa jodan dake datta, means that was just a joke. And for formal, sore wa jodan dake deshita, means that was just a joke. So for formal, you just add deshita in present, in past tense instead of datta. So the next one is kare wa tomodachi dake datta, means he was just a friend. Now let's see the sentences of past tense negative. So the structure is noun plus janakatta dake da. So the first example is sore wa honki janakatta dake da, means it was just not serious. And the next one is kare wa sensei janakatta dake da, means he was not just a teacher. So now let's see the sentences of past tense with dake, with I adjectives and na adjectives. So the structure is adjective plus dake da, or na adjectives plus na dake da. So in I adjective we don't have to add na, but in na adjective we have to add na before dake da. So the first example is kono eiga wa omoshiroi dake da. This movie is just interesting. The next is kare no seikaku wa yashashii dake da, means his personality is just kind. And for formal, you just have to add this instead of da. So the next one is kyou wa samui dake desu, means today is just cold. And the next one is kono hoteru wa shizuka na dake da, means this hotel is just quiet. So the present tense negative structure. So I adjectives remove I plus kunai dake, and for na adjectives plus janai dake da. So the first example is kono eiga wa omoshiroku nai dake desu, means this movie is just not interesting. The next one is kyou wa samuku nai dake da, means today is just not cold. So the structure of past tense with adjectives. So I adjective remove I plus nakatta dake desu, and for na adjectives plus datta dake da. So for example, sono shiken wa kantan datta dake da, means that test was just easy. Next example is kino wa atsukatta dake da, means yesterday was just hot. Now the past tense negative structure. So for I adjectives plus kunakatta dake da, and for na adjectives plus janakatta dake da. So for example, sono shiken wa kantan janakatta dake da, means that test was just not easy. And the next one is kino wa atsuku nakatta dake da, means yesterday was just not hot. So now let's see how you can ask questions with the help of dake grammar point. So the first example is korewa jodan dake desu ka? Means it's just a joke. Is this just a joke? And the next one is karewa tomodachi dake means is he just a friend? The next is kyou wa kyou no shigoto wa kantan no dake desu ka? Means is today's work just easy? Now let's see the present tense negative questions. So the question number 1 is このホテルは静かじゃないだけですか? Means is this hotel not just quiet? Just not quiet. The next is 彼は優しくないだけ? Is he just not kind? And now let's see the present past tense affirmative questions. So the question number 1 is 昨日は休みだっただけですか? Means was yesterday just a holiday? The next is 彼の態度は真面目だっただけ? Means was his attitude was just serious? The next is その試験は簡単だっただけですか? Means was this test just easy? Past tense negative questions. The first question is 昨日は昨日の天気は暑くなかっただけですか? Means was the weather yesterday just not hot? The next one is 彼は先生じゃなかっただけ? Means was he just not a teacher? The last one is そのゲームは面白くなかっただけですか? Means was that game just not interesting? So the video is